fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom across the world. I come to you once again, bringing you information on things that are happening in Biafra land. Wherever you are joining me from, I welcome you to this very platform. If you are joining us from Biafra land, you are joining us from Asia, from Europe, from America, from Australia, from Canada, from New Zealand. You are joining us from Russia, you are joining us from China, you are joining us from Israel. I welcome you to this very platform, and I say, may Chukwu Okike Abiama continue to guide and protect you and secure you. Today is 7th of June, 2024. We are here once again to bring you information on the things that are happening in Biafran territory. Remember, this is Biafra Exodus Hard Talk TV, a platform where you get information that has to do with the Biafra Republic of Exile, information that has to do with the Biafran people, information that has to do with the restoration of the independent state of Biafra, information coming from the Prime Minister of Biafra Republic of Exile, information that are coming from the zoo on the current situation and the current jungle war that the Nigerian government is carrying out in Biafran territory. I want to share with you views. A lot is really happening. Finally, today, an information has been released that the terrorist military of Nigeria have disappeared 300 people in the old Abia state. 300 people have been disappeared from Aba because of the incident that happened recently. This is the investigation and the information coming from their own media. And when you hear 300 people, you should know that up to 1,000 are gone. Innocent people, we are talking about innocent people, not the people that committed the crime. To an extent that the governor came out and went to their own barrack to plead with them to allow the innocent breathe. You can imagine the chief security of a state that's supposed to give an order to let the innocent people be, and they should investigate and go after those who committed a crime. Instead of giving that command, he went and he was begging them. And while he was begging, already 300 people are missing in Aba as we speak. Now you understand why we must not wait anybody to defend for us. Why we must not wait for anybody to fight for us. We have to defend ourselves. Now you understand why the Prime Minister of Biafra Republic of Exile is preaching self-defense, which is the right of every human being. It is only self-defense that can keep us alive, nothing else. The more you continue to wait for these people, the more you lose your conscience and lose your life and lose everything that you stand for. I want to share with you one of the video that I found on Arise TV. The interview that was granted to somebody from Biafra land, Igbo Biafra to be precise, a doctor. And I want you to see how he responded to this criminal media and how they asked him questions. Pay attention to everything you're going to be said in this very video. You will understand. Even though you don't agree with him in everything, there are certain things you understand. The way he answers the question will tell you there are people that still have common sense, not like people like Iwanyanwu and Co. Let us listen to the response of this man on this very interview on Arise TV. Let's watch.
So I'd like to know, Dr. Naji, what your initial reaction was to the news of the killing of the 5 Nigerian soldiers and 6 civilians in Abia State by suspected members of IPOB. How do you contextualize this incident within the broader spectrum of IPOB's agitation and historical grievances in the Southeast region?
Well, thank you very much, and good morning, viewers. It's not going to be my focus to just circumscribe the killing of soldiers only in the Southeast. There's a general knowledge that Nigeria's security situation has deteriorated very, very tremendously, and regrettably so. And it feels so painful whenever you hear any security agent mowed down or gunned down, not at the war front, because it makes you feel very unsafe as an individual. Because if your security man could have been tied up, it's just a matter of seconds and you'll be reached. So that is my own feeling about, general feeling whenever I hear that this thing happened. And it is very, very also somehow disappointing, the ease with which it appears our security men are killed in the street, not at the war front. There has to be some extra vigilance, even if nothing else, to reassure us that we are also protected. Now, the location of killing does not necessarily mean that it is people there that committed the criminal act. It's condemnable to kill ordinary people, not to talk about men in uniform. Even, as I said, the situation calls for extra vigilance on the part of security agents, because one of the reasons why criminals may want to go for them, it may not be personal. They may be interested in their arms. After all, it
this
is
exactly what is going on in Biafra land.
Means of violence
this is the situation
that is in the
Biafra
possession or unlawful
this
possession of the criminal, that
the
he can unleash terror on ordinary helpless citizens.
Many families in Biafra land are facing
for that reason, eternal vigilance is called for by those who are in possession of those arms legitimately, so that they don't fall prey to those who are looking for an opportunity to dispossess them. And the only way to dispossess a man who has gone is to gun him down or snatch it one way or the other and render him helpless. And in the situation we find ourselves these days, human lives are no longer valuable as we used to know it. The president of Ohanese was talking about how sacrosanct life was. That is in the past. Today, in those days, you will never fear about harm from somebody you didn't know or have any interaction with. Today, just because you are walking in the street, you could just be a victim.
As we speak,
or just because you come from a certain ethnic stock or faith, or religious faith, or you look like somebody, you could just become a victim.
The chief of army staff came before the whole
things have changed tremendously. And therefore, even the military, in its own reaction, I was not happy. And I believe, I just hope that the military was misquoted when he said it will retaliate. Retaliate against who? You have not identified who did what. And then the easiest prey will be to go around like sometimes the policemen will do, to pick anybody who looks like. That's an unnecessary profile, prejudicial profile. And there is an optics that is developing.
Is defended and protected.
You don't compare crimes. Crime is crime.
Never give up.
But it appears that there is a different way the military or security agencies treat certain things that happen in certain locations as against how they do it in another location. And it shouldn't be so. Nigeria is the same. And the same crime should be meted out with the same punishment. But intelligence must come in. Intelligence, that's what, when we're doing Psychology 101, that's what we call SR mechanistic. Stimulus response. The army of today should go beyond stimulus response and goes to stimulus mentalistic response. You must mediate the stimuli before you respond. You must find out who did what. Our criminal law and jurisprudence does not support Josephat killing Mr. Okonkwo, and then the police goes and arrests Samuel. Just because Samuel was staying there. You should look for the man who killed the person. You don't do displacement of aggression. And that is what retaliation connotes. And we have seen it in different locations, OD and what have you. So a situation where the military will come and pack I was just reading through some piece of information. That in December, some people were arrested, more than 40-something, from the southeast again. Young men, who some of them never traveled even outside Onitsha. They were packed into Abuja only just some few days ago to be released by the Federal High Court on bail. Some of them didn't know why they were there. And some people will be looking for their children. So that is not the attitude. In classical philosophy, where some of these statecraft issues were enunciated, Plato talked about the spirited element. The spirited element is the armed forces. And the armed forces are like bulldogs. They don't attack their owners. They attack the enemies of their owners. But we are beginning to see aggression turned inwards. And the system that does that is increasing and escalating violence. Because some people who may not be able to retaliate will bear animosity. So if you want intelligence, they will not give you. A military, like some of the cases we have read, trying to call the civil population, that was very good enough, giving them health services and so on. But that should not be a TV show. It should be ingrained in the character of the military, that you go after the criminals. Because indeed, what prevented the military from taking specific and audacious positions on that May 30, when it was announced to the whole world, and to the discomfiture of even the Southeast people, including those whose children were to take exams on that day, that the people should not come out. That was an audacity that should not have been allowed to manifest. And now, you bring double jeopardy to the same people, like the proverbial palm kernel, that says, as it was still suffering, that it was cracked with a stone. The person who cracked it, put it in the mouth and cracked the nut with the teeth. That's double jeopardy. And in our laws, double jeopardy is not allowed. In criminal jurisprudence and our criminal laws, they are not. So the military should adopt intelligence, just like any other security agency should. It should not be a situation where 5 military men are killed, unjustifiably so. Then you go and pack 120 people, maybe 70 people will die in the process. But the criminal law in Nigeria, the principle is that rather than harm one innocent person for a crime that has been committed, let 100 criminals go free. But I know that the military has the intelligence, they have the capacity to identify people who may have done these things. And who says that crime is committed by those who live within the location of that crime? We have been witnesses to exhortation by some people, some of whom that may be identifiable, that Southeast should join in a crusade against the Tinubu's government. And the
are you
people said
alleging
no.
that you believe that the perpetrators of this crime are not from Abia State? Is that what you're saying?
Best interest. Please leave.
I am not believing anything because I cannot say categorically. But reason, I'm a lawyer. Because if you come in and I'm cross-examining you, you have to establish first and foremost that you have evidence that those people you are chasing are the likely people that may have committed it. Today we have freedom of movement. Today we have criminals that commit something in Zamfara and you arrest them in Kaduna or Borno State and so on and so forth. Or commit criminal activities in Lagos and you can arrest them in Ebonyi State. So what is impossible? Because we are reasonable people and we are talking about how to find solution to this problem. You don't localize crime. You have to spread your net. And it is the people that will also help you. There are some people who may have been witnesses to what may have happened. I don't know the nature of the location where this thing happened. But I believe perhaps there are some residents around that place that may be watching from their homes, as we do in this Lagos. Some people watch crime scenes from this thing, and some people film it. If you now begin to arrest everybody in the street, they will keep their facts, because they might fall victim needlessly. So what I'm saying is that in trying to solve a problem, you must ventilate the environment. You do not get fixated. Otherwise, the problem will not be solved. It can be repeated and repeated and repeated. But I can say, without fear or favor, that it appears that criminals are looking for guns and ammunition. And that is why it becomes very easy that if you have 1 or 2 police orderlies, they go for those ones first, not only to weaken you, their victim, their potential victim for kidnap, but also they seize their arms, even if they are arrested later, because when you are trying to commit crime, your motive takes supreme over your caution. Only that at the end of the day, you now say it is the work of Satan. So I want a situation where the military should refrain from this type of attitude. We take revenge. Against who? If you have identified and arrested those people through military intelligence or any kind of intelligence for that matter, and you are sure they are the people, the law is very clear. Anybody who kills must be killed, except there is a justifiable reason under the law. And even from the level of conscience, every human life is sacrosanct. So it is not a situation where because military has the capacity to unleash violence anywhere, anytime, and anyhow. And we are in a civil governance. We should be looking at things from the legal perspective to be sure that we do not offend the sensibilities of the ordinary and helpless citizens. Let me just put this. There is a proverb that says, you as a native doctor, you normally have plenty of dried meat in your bag. Let the rat not go there every time to chop the meat. But the native doctor should also refrain from making every rat to lose their teeth just because he lost some pieces of meat. I don't know whether you get my drift.
Well, we do, Dr. Najib, but this proverb is a bit heavy. I know that it is in the spirit of the Igbo land, you know, to infuse proverbs.
Yes, what it's just a encapsulation and encapsulation of my principle of justice. Okay. That you go after those who committed the offense and don't because an ethnic member or member of a family did something, if it is proven that it's even from that family, then you go after the entire family. That's not you can't, like a police sometimes will go and they don't find the husband who committed the offense. They will arrest the wife. The law is vehemently against such behavior. The criminal jurisprudence is against it. And our criminal law is against it. And the ACJA is also against it. Even though it is still practiced one way or the other. But when you get to the court, it is shut down. So the point I'm making is that the military's effort to win the heart and soul and mind of Nigerian citizens, no matter where they are located, is to be painstaking in their investigation. The Okwama something is still very fresh. Some people have been giving account of their experiences at home. As unfortunate as it was that people died, they are all Nigerians, so there's no doubt about that. Even the fact that they were military and they are military and all that does not detract from the fact that they are Nigerians, children of somebody, father, relations, and so on, with flesh and blood. So, but my contention here is that the military, as well as our security agents, should try to make it possible that they don't become easy prey, because those who are after them are looking. There are many people who will be interested in collecting their gun, and the young men who are marauding everywhere, taking drugs and so on. The effort of the state will amount to nothing in curbing drugs when it is possible for them to take that drug and have access to something they can steal to cause more mayhem.
All right.
You have had a response of this man. Go to the comment section and tell me what you think about his response. I am still going to bring you the second part of it for you to see the evil in Nigerian media, how they are joining suit to go against Biafrans.